Anavavatu, and then Guru Stotram. Sahanavavatu, Sahanau bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu mavidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Stotram. Akhanda mandalakaram vyaptam yena characharam tatpadam darsitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave namaha. Ajnanatimirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshur militam yena tasmai Sri Gurave namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Stavaram Jangamam Vyaptam, Yatkinchis Sacharacharam, Tatpadam Darsitam Yena, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam vyapiyat sarvam trailokyam sacharacharam darsitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave namaha. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva sarvam mama deva deva, Tvameva sarvam Gurudeva deva. We need to have audio recorded somewhere. Okay. So we completed the first chapter of Panchadashi, this is Tattva Viveka, and now we are entering into the second chapter, Panchabhuta Viveka Prakaranam. Prakaranam is a chapter, and this is Panchabhuta Vivekam, where Vivekam is one has to use a discriminative intellect to differentiate what is that which is changeless and what is changing in the Panchabhutas. Panchabhutas are 5 elements that are created. So the whole chapter deals with how the creation started and what is involved, and analysis of the world that we are looking at, and in the process of analysis we have to use a discriminative intellect to differentiate what is the substratum, dharyate jagatu, that which provides a support for the universe and that which is continuously changing. So not to get lost in the changing things and be conscious of the changeless entity in the changing things is the viveka that is required in the Panchabhutas. So this chapter, as I mentioned last time, is an analysis or an expansion of Chandogya Upanishad Sadvidya, where we are talking about the existence alone was there before creation. So in the Chandogya 6th chapter, this starts called Sadvidya also, where Sat is the existence or Sat or existence alone was there before creation. So what was there? How did it start with? What was there? Something has to be there to create, and therefore one cannot create from nothing into something else, because it's against the law of conservation. So something has to be there before creation. Therefore, the scripture itself says Sat eva, Sadeva Saumya Idamagramasit. That existence alone was there before creation. Ekameva Advitiyam. It is Ekam, Evam, Advitiyam. 3 words are used in the scripture. It is one alone, it is alone, and it is non-dual. All are mean the same, but 3 words specifically are used to differentiate. There are no, the Sajati, Vijati, Swagata Vedas are not there. So what does that mean? Sajati is same jati, same group. All chairs belong to same jati. This is a chair, that is a chair, that is a chair. What is the jati? Jati is that which makes a chair and not a table. So that is a jati, and all have chairness in them, and whatever the chairness that you can define is the chairness, because it's a circular definition. But all the attributes that make a chair and not a table is that jati that is common for all chairs, and that is called sajati. So several chairs are there, but each chair is different. Each attributes of each chair is different, yet they all have common attribute, which is called chairness. That's called Sajati. Vijati is that belongs to a different jati. So it's not a chairness, a tableness. So tableness is not in the chairness, and in the table there is no chairness. So tables are all of the same jati, different from the chair. So jati involves a particular requirement or attribute that makes that element belong to that phylum or that group. And in the Sat, what was the existence? In the existence, there is no jati beda. That means this is the existence of one type, this is another existence of different type. Like that, there is no differences of any of that same jati. Because this is a chair of one type, another chair is another type, and like that, there is no differences of that kind. Vijati, this is a chair and a table, and there are several things are there. So there is a Sat and something else is there. That kind of difference also are not there. And there is a third variety is called Swagata Veda, internal differences. In the chair itself, legs are different, hands are different, back is different, seat is different. There is a differences of within the same Vyakti, individual chair. Each individual chair called Vyakti, and in that, which belongs to a jati of chairs, and in that itself there are individual component differences are there, called limbs or amshas. The parts are different. That makes total as a chair. If I remove all the legs, there won't be any chair. If I remove the seat, there won't be any chair. All together put into a chair, and that makes it as internal differences in one unit, total unit, and that kind also is not there. Why? It doesn't have any parts. You cannot have in the pure existence, there are no this part, that part, and it cannot be parted. Therefore, there are no parts also. It is one homogeneous, undifferentiable existence alone was there before creation. That was the statement. And he is going to take the whole chapter explanation of this statement. Sadeva Saumya Idamagramasit. Sadeva Saumya means his teacher is telling the student, oh my dear loving boy, because his student happened to be his son also. So he is addressing the student, says, what was there? Sadeva Idam Agra. Idam means the whole universe. And he is going to analyze, Swami Vidyaranya going to analyze each word by word in the whole chapter. So this is the essence of the second chapter. Why do I need Viveka for this? We can see chairs are different, tables are different, everything is different. That's what we are used to it. And all we are learning about how this different from that differs and all that. The science is trying to differentiate these different properties. And the more and more you become subtle intellect, you are going to differentiate finer and finer differences. That's what you see Sushma Buddhi is. Sushma Buddhi is a scientist differentiates and puts these attributes to belong to this, and this attribute attributes are like, you have phylum, that phylum, this class, all those biological separateness of everything is based on differences.
Classifications.
Okay, you know what the problem is. So that individual differences belong to the different, is a scientist does, but what exactly is, because the more higher the intellect or more sharper, I can differentiate finer and finer shades. For me, everything looks red, but my wife says, no, this is this red, that red, and this saree is different from that saree. All look me one kind of jati, but they want to differentiate that finer, particularly in music and all that, you can differentiate the finer things and enjoy the life also. That kind of difference is by training one can get. Even that differences are not there. So ekam eva advitiyam involves none of those differences. It's a pure existence alone was there. So alone means there is nothing else. So Rama alone was there in the room means nobody else is there. That's what implication is. Means nothing other than existence alone was there. So that statement is being utilized and expanded, and it starts with the sloka that we did last time. Sadadvaitam srutam yattat Sadadvaitam srutam yattat Panchabhuta vivekataha Panchabhuta vivekataha Bodham sakyam tato bhuta Bodham sakyam tato bhuta Panchakam pravivichyate Panchakam pravivichyate. Looks like no one has a book. That shows the importance of Vedantic study. You should have a book. Chinmaya Mission insists that you should have a book. You have to chant the sloka, you have to repeat the sloka, then only the sloka becomes a part of mananam or for contemplation. So those who are listening to these talks, have a book with you, open the book. We are in the second chapter of Panchadashi, and go through the text as we are doing it here in the class. So he is Sad Advaitam Shrutam Yatat. Shruti talks about yet that which is the cause for the creation is Sat Advaitam, that existence and which is of the nature of Advaitam. So he is using the words that corresponds to what the scripture says. So Sadeva Saimya Idamagramasit Ekameva Advitiyam. So the same words are being used. The first and the last word in the mantra is used to remind us what I am going to discuss in this chapter is essentially that aspect that are discussed in the Chandogya Upanishad. So Radadvaitam Srutam Yatat Panchabhuta Vivekataha. These Panchabhutas, the 5 elements that are created out of it, Bodham Sakyam Tato Bhuta, therefore Bhuta Panchakam Pravivichyate. So therefore by inquiring into the nature of the world that is created from that existence which is non-dual, by analyzing it, we will be able to recognize the pure existence that is the essential, which is of the nature of the creator. The creation is coming from that. So why I need to inquire into it? Because I cannot see. I cannot see existence. Existence alone was there before, and the same existence became into many. That's what the scripture also says. Tadaikshata bahusyam prada eeti. Let me become many. And he became many. So what is that existence? Existence is not inert thing, because he wanted to become many, which means he is a conscious entity. Whatever that conscious entity became many. So it is not only pure existence, it is the nature of consciousness also. It is Sat and Chit Swarupam. And that was there before creation. And what happened before creation? It saw itself. How can it see? There is nothing else to see. Therefore, it became self-conscious. When it became self-conscious, therefore, it wants to become into many. Hey, I am only one. Ekameva Advitiyam, one without a second. I would like to become many. So he became varieties and varieties of many. And in the process of becoming many, there is an evolutionary process. And in the Chandogya, we only talk about 3. Actually, it's 5. It's called Panchakam. These are 5-fold creation that comes into Bhutas are created in the order. So in the Taittiriya Upanishad, that is talked about. Tasmat Akasha Sambhutaha Atmana Akasha Sambhutaha Akashat Vayuhu Vayuhu Agnihi Agniha Apaha Abja Pruthivi. So these are 5 elements. First, Akasha Sambhutaha. Akasha, space is created. So Akasha means space. From where? From Atma. From consciousness. So there it used as Atma. Here it is used Sat. So existent, which is of the nature of consciousness. So it is of the nature of Satchit aspect. The Advaita means it is Ananda Swarupam. It is limitless. It is infinite. Therefore, it is of the nature of infinite. So therefore, that became many. Since becoming many into many, what was the reason to become many? What was the cause for it to become many? Unnecessarily, why did it become many? The cause is given by the chart that is missing here. The BMI chart is the vasanas of all beings. Why I became many, why I created this, or why I did something else, or why I am born? Because of my own vasanas coming from my previous life. I had to exhaust them. Therefore, I am born in a particular environment to particular parents, in either a man or a woman or whatever form I take, in order to exhaust the vasanas which are result of my actions in my previous life. So implication is, I was there before in my previous life, where I performed action, and that action resulted vasanas, and that which I could not exhaust in that life. Therefore, I put it in the deposit in my account, and because of that are ready to germinate. Therefore, I am taking a form that I can exhaust. But in the process of human being, and not only I exhaust, I accumulate more because I perform more actions, and again I deposit more. So I get into these life cycles. So what is the cause for my birth? My birth is cause for my own vasanas. What's cause for other people's birth? Their own vasanas. So what's the cause of the total of all people together? The total vasana of all people together. And that total vasanas, when everybody goes into the deep sleep state called individually a layam and collectively called pralayam, when it goes into a subtle state, that is the one that wants to express itself, and that's how I want to become many. A desire comes in the totality to express those vasanas. I want to go to America. Why you want to go to America? I have vasanas to go to America to exhaust. Now I want to go back to India. So that's also due to vasanas that are pulling me there. So anywhere, any perform that I want is determined by, or dictated by, or demanded by the implicit likes and dislikes or vasanas that are propelling me. So therefore, even in the totality, which is one without a second, there are subtle vasanas that are expressing itself and wants to make it into become a many. So therefore many became many. In the process of becoming many, the evolutionary first is space has to be created. Okay, Akasha. From Akasha, Vayuhu. Vayu means the air, space, or the gas state. So Akashat Vayu, Vayoho Agnihi. Agnihi means fire or energy. Agnihi Apaha. From the fire you get water, and from water you get the Pruthivi. So this is the order of creation in the scriptures. It's actually one is more grosser than the other one. That's one aspect. When you say one is gross and another is subtle, the subtle means in the Vedanta, subtleness is described as is pervasiveness. So space pervades everywhere, including the air, including the water, including the earth. Space is pervading all over, right? You cannot have earth and then space separated. So earth has to be within the space only. So one pervades the other is called the subtlety. So as creation goes from Akasha all the way to Prithvi, subtleness changes. So why we are discussing all that? In the second sloka, we are going to analyze this much more. So this is the introduction. Oh, thank you. Excuse me. Okay, let's do second sloka. Sabdasparshau ruparasau Sabdasparshau ruparasau Gandho bhuta guna ime Gandho bhuta ima Eka dvi tri chatuh pancha Eka dvi tri chatuh pancha Guna vyomadishu kramat Gunaha vyomadishu kramat. Together. Sabdasparshau ruparasau Gandho bhuta guna ime Ekadvitri chatuh pancha Gunaha vyomadishu kramat. So here, see, how am I going to identify what all the 5 things Akasha, Vayu, Agni says? Now, very interesting aspect it is through the properties only I can determine the substantive. That's how he start here. See, Shabda is sound. Sound can be is a special quality of the Akasha, space. How do you know? You're just saying, just because of that. So even if I close my eyes and even if any other sense organs is not working other than the sound, by hearing sound I can say he is this side, not that way. Oh, not that. I can determine the position called color also. So Sabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, taste, Gandha, smell. Each one of these 5 properties are special properties of each one of the elements. Akasha, Vayuhu, Agnihi, Apaha, Prithvi. Now you know in Sanskrit terms, right? Akasha, space, Akasha, Vayu, the air, and Agnihi, fire, Jalam is water, and Prithvi, earth. And now match each one, Sabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. 5. There are 5 senses we have. So 5 senses belong to special property of each one. That's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is Akasha, it has only Sabda. There is no taste and all other thing. When you go to the next one, it picks up one more besides the Sabda. Sabda is now a common for it because it has formed from the Akasha. Akashat Vayuhu. So it also inherits the property of this Akasha. Plus it has its own special properties, which is Sabda Sparsa, the contact. So when air is breathing, you can feel it, the touch of the air. So if something is suffocated, you want air to blow because you want to feel the movement. So there is a Sparsa, contact comes with Vayuhu. Sparsa, there is no Sparsa in the Akasha. So next element that is coming from the Akasha is speaking a second property as its special property besides what it has, it's borrowing from the Akasha. So in the second one you have 2. And if you go to the third one, Akasha, Vayu, Vayuhu, Agnihi. Agnihi has both sound and touch as well as something else also. So Sabda, Sparsa, Rupa. Rupa means it has a form or color and all that will be coming with the Agni. So red hot or white hot and so on. You're talking about the fire is associated with something that I can see. So there's a fire there, I can see because it has a Rupam. So Rupam is a property that's coming from the so I don't see air in between. You can't see space. I don't see air also, unless I assume that normal air. So therefore, but the Agni has a third property as its special property besides other 2. Sabda, and how Sabda and all that he's going to talk about it. I'm just giving you general because it says Eka, I stopped each one. Eka, Dvi, Tri, Chatuhu, Panchaha. Eka means for first one as only one. Dvi means two. The second one has two properties. Three means the third one has three properties. Fourth one has chatuhu, four, and fifth one has pancha, five properties. So it is kramat. Accordingly means respectively. So respectively says Akasha, Vayuhu, Agnihi, Apaha, Prithvi. Respectively, each one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 properties. Okay, but each one has one special property plus other four properties that are being borrowed from previous one because of the creation aspect. So he is packing everything in this one sloka. So if you look at Shabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, all these five properties, the Shabda is sound, Sparsa is touch, Rupa is normally we call it akara. Akara means form, but in Vedantic tradition, Rupa is for colors. So color and form also is included in the Rupa. Rasa is the taste. Gandha is smell. Gandho, Bhuta Gunaha. These are properties of the Bhuta Gunaha is properties of these Panchabhutas that are created. So Eka, Dvi, Tri, Chatuhu, Panchaha, Gunaha, Vyomadishu, Kramad. According to space, etc. Vyomadishu is space, etc. Kramad, in that order, means Akasha, Vayuhu, Agnihi, Apaha, Prithvi. In that order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 qualities, or what are they? Shabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. All these 5 attributes belong to each one. Now that is what the name of the sloka is. Now we are looking at another aspect of it. The way he is introducing the Panchabhutas is through properties. What are created? I cannot say this is Akasha is created. How do I know? You can know only Akasha through space only, through the sound only. And therefore, any object is known only through attributes. Now we are coming to more epistemological aspect of it is every material is known only through properties. Without properties, I cannot say the object is. In fact, object is defined via properties only. What is a chair? You have to tell me what is a chair. If I don't know what is a chair is what? I draw a picture and that is a chair. But picture is not a chair. I have to give attribute. You can sit on it and you can do all this and all those attributes that I can define it a chair as a chair and not a table. So that by giving all the descriptions of the chair, I should be able to come up with that object, right? So that's what a scientist does. A scientist is define an object via attributes. So if a new substance is given, I have to find out what are its chemical properties, physical properties and all that, and determine what is the substance. Without that, it may be just a powder, any powder, we don't know. So that through properties only I can say what the material is, number one. Right? Conversely, every material has some property. Right? So every object must have some properties, and only through properties that object is defined. That's second aspect. And every object differentiates from other objects. This object is different from that object and that. So Akasha is different from Vayu, Vayu is different from Agni, Agni is different from Jalam, Jalam is different from Prithvi. So through properties only I have to differentiate, this is Akasha, this is Vayu, this. Through properties only I can differentiate the objects. Objects alone will have properties. And each object is defined by properties only. And that which doesn't have properties, if there is something, then I cannot use any of these definitions. And I cannot even define them. Follow now what the implication is? So, Sadeva Saumya Idamagramasi, existence alone was there before, where there is no properties of anything. Sajati, Vijati, Vigata, all Vedas are not there. Remember, we no differentiation of anything, because to differentiate, we need properties. Follow now? So, it is that which is Nirgunam. The one that doesn't have any gunas, because none of these Sabdasparsa Rupa Rasa Gandhas can be applied to that which is of the nature of pure existence. So that is also an implication of this. In the creation, I am creating each bhutas, number one. And in the bhutas, each one is speaking of one property, right? Now, second aspect of it is, I don't know, the second or third or whatever, is it is coming from the original Sadeva Saumya Idamagramas. Existence alone was there before. Now, same thing is becoming into many. That means that same existence still exists. Now in the form of Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithivi. Now you follow now? So what happened to existence? Is it gone? No, existence cannot stop existing, because that is what Krishna also says in the second chapter. Says that what exists can never cease to exist. In the 16th sloka says nasato vijjati bhavo na bhavo vijjati sataha. That which exists can never cease to exist. One is law of conservation. So that which exists cannot stop existing. It can only modify into something else. That's law of conservation, right? Energy is existent. It can only modify into this form of energy, into that form of energy. This energy can be destroyed into another form, but energy cannot be destroyed. It only transforms into one form into other form. So this is a transformation only can occur from one to other, but there is no loss, absolute loss of it. Law of conservation involves that, right? Now apply this to Sat also. Existence alone was there before. Now same existence is now expressed in the form of Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi. So whenever I see any of this, I am picking up individual attributes of the thing plus that original one. What is the original one? Existence alone was there. Now look at the example of, in the same Chandogya, a scripture says what was there before is alone gold. Now it is transformed. It says, let me become many. Gold thought one day, says, let me become many. Bahushyam prada eti. It wanted to become many. So what it became? It became a ring and a bangle and a necklace and a bracelet. All those varieties of ornaments that you see that were created in the past, that were created now, that will be created in the future, all are nothing but gold only. Now where is the gold? Gold is the essence of everything. Follow now? Now this is all I am analyzing, because we have to exactly use this viveka now. When we are applying, when you are looking into the world, I have to see, how do I see the Lord? You have to see only this way, because he already become this. You cannot go back to Sat, I want to see Sat. No, you can only see all this that exists and see the Sat in that. Just as when the gold decided to become into a ring and a bangle and a necklace, and now I want to see gold. You can only see gold in the form of ring and a bangle and a necklace and a bracelet and all that. There is no other way. So I cannot see pure AU, right? Either it can be lump form, or it can be a block form, or it can be any other form, but it can be one form that I can see as AU means gold. And I had to see in and through the forms and the names, that which changeless is what I have to see. So that example the scripture tells is, when it became many, it became many without itself undergoing any modification. Called the transformation is what is called transformationless transformation. So it is not like ice becoming into water, water becoming into steam and all, where in the transformation there is a destruction of previous state. Right? So ring can transform into a bangle, then there is no more ring. But gold in the ring is still same as gold in the bangle. So gold has not really transformed. Only what is transformation is only nama and rupa, name and attribute. Rupa stands for here. So, Akashat Vayuhu, Vayu Agnihi, Agni Apaha, Abja Prithvi. So, if you are looking at this transformation, this is still a transformationless transformation, because the existence Sat was there before, it was there before, alone was there. Now the same, that alone word is same existence is now existing in the form of Akashaha, Vayu, Agnihi, Apaha, Prithvi. So, a modification is a transformation, less transformation. So, if I want to see what was there before, in and through what is there now, I had to use Viveka. Follow now, which is Panchabhuta Viveka means I had to use a discriminative intellect to differentiate what is that which is Nityam and what is that which is Anityam. Anityam is that which is temporarily there, where it's a transformation product, and that is a destructive transformation, because the ring can be destroyed and to become a bangle. That's called the Parinamavada. Parinam is transformation, like milk becoming into yogurt or dahi or curd, where it's a irreversible transformation. Whereas this is not even reversible transformation also. Reversible transformation is like this ice becoming a water or water becoming a steam. It's reversible. I can go back and make it into ice and steam into water and so on, right? That's a reversible transformation. But this transformation, peculiar transformation Vedanta provides so scientifically, is that it is transformationless transformation, where gold still remaining as a gold, but still varieties are transformed. Gold has transformed into a ring and a bangle and a necklace and a bracelet. Yes, gold remaining as gold. So if a ring wants to know where is gold, how far it has to go, it has to look within, right? When you say look within, you are looking for gold all over, and you are going to Himalayas to do meditation to see the Lord, or go to temple also. Not that you should not go to temple, but you are going to temple to see the what? To see the Lord. So one fellow was going all the way from Kerala to Badrinath to see Lord Narayana. So when Westerner wanted to say what is this he is going to do, so he is following him all the to see. Say what is it that he cannot find in Kerala, that he is to go all the way to Badrinath and go there to see Lord Narayana. Then he went all the way to Badrinath, and there he went to the temple, and then he saw in front of Badrinath. Then he closed his eyes. So you came all the way from Kerala, why are you closing your eyes? You open your eyes and see. Now, what he is seeing, Narayana, is in his mind now. He could have closed his eyes in Kerala itself without walking all the way. But to see that Lord within him, he has to do all the way to go to Badri Narayana and stand in front of the Lord and then close his eyes to see that Narayana within him. Says Krishna says, I am there in everyone, all the way. But I am not able to see unless my mind is prepared to that Viveka. So here we are studying the Viveka, means discriminative intellect is required. For that, I need to prepare to, in order to discriminate, my mind has to be settled so that I don't get lost in the Nama Rupa, in the names and forms. Because it's very easy to get lost. How? That's what happens to us as soon as the class is over. We are back to Nama Rupa. So intensely we forget that existence alone is expressing in this form also. God is himself is expressing in this form also. But that we forget it. Why? We got entangled, fascinated by the ring form and the necklace form and the bracelet form and so on and so forth. I don't like this ring form, I like the other ring form, and all that. So essentially, this is what implication of Viveka involved. And second implication, as I said, the existence itself became many. So what is the material cause for the creation? Just as the gold became many, gold is the material, right? So when the gold is material, every part of that ring from A to Z, or from one corner to other corner, every speck inside, outside, everywhere is nothing but gold only. So wherever I touch, it's gold. If I remove the gold, there is nothing there. So is there a ring at all? There is no ring, is only I used a noun, and the attributes of that noun belong to that noun only, but not to the gold. Follow now? So if this is Shabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, 5 attributes that are describing to Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithivi, each one is having a special attributes, but that attributes belong to only Nama and Rupa. That means name and form. Name is knowledge. Naming is knowledge. So if I say cow, so you have a knowledge of what cow is. So word in cow, name, here stands for a knowledge of an object. And when you say knowledge of object, you imagine some form. So form is only not the object. Form is an attribute of the object. Through attribute, you picturize it, because through attributes only you can see. So implication of all that is, number one, the substantive. There is no really substantive ring or a bangle and a necklace and a bracelet. There is no substance like that. What is there is only gold. What you are calling now as in the ring, and the attributes of the ring is different from the attributes of the bangle and attributes of the necklace and so on. Each one has their own attributes, qualities, ID, OD, all those things. And those belong to only name and a form. I am giving a name for that form, but has in essence is that is only superficial, adhyasa, a superimposition on gold only. And those attributes do not belong to gold. The ring attributes, which differ from the bangle attributes, different from a bracelet attributes, do not belong to gold. Gold has its own attributes because gold is another matter. But if you go to apply this to Sat, Sat itself became into many, it is attributeless one. So I cannot define in that one, because any definition involves attributes. I cannot perceive that one, because perception involves attributes. Therefore, but it is there, and it is the very substance because it became from that. So gold cannot be removed. I cannot make a ring out without having a gold, because gold itself became a ring. Unless, some material has to be there. So, description of this is why scripture becomes important. What was there before? Oh, creation. How did Lord create it? All other religions do not analyze this upadana karanam, the material cause for creation. They only talk God is Jagat Karta, Ishvara, He created, He's a creator. But how did He create? Where did He get material? So the material has to come from Himself, which means He Himself is the whole universe itself. Therefore, I need now a Sukshma Buddhi, an intense, dedicated mind to find out that which is the noun that is pervading the whole attributive Nama Rupa. So that means the purpose of the Vedantic study is to be able to develop a knowledge, not only knowledge, but also a mind that can viveka, that discriminates that which is changeless in the changing entities. The problem is, so the existence already became, so I cannot go back to original anymore. It can only express in different forms. So in and through the world only I can see the Lord. Follow now where the problem is? Not that I cannot avoid this, any forms and all that. I want to sit in the meditation. What are you going to do? Sit in the meditation. Meditation is not a means of knowledge to know what it is. It cannot give you. Meditation is not a pramana. You should realize, oh, I know everything now, I want to sit, I want to see. If you see, then that's not what it is, because anything seen is only form. I have to understand. Seeing is understand the truth that is pervading everywhere. So I don't have to close my eyes, because where can I avoid this? Everything is Him only. Problem is, I try to avoid and see, understand this process only, so that my mind is not getting distracted from Nama Rupas. That's why I may sit in the seat of meditation. But in the seat of meditation, I have to inquire into this also, this only. So here, several aspects are being packed in the statements that he is going to analyze. Says, through the attributes only, I will know these Panchabhutas. And the Panchabhutas are picking up each one an additional qualification of its own as it becomes into the next one. And the next one is not only the previous attributes, plus it has its own special attributes, until I come up with the earth, which is having all the 5 attributes. And its special attribute of earth is Gandha. Sabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So each one is picking up its own one special quality besides the previous ones, and that's what is going to be discussed in this chapter. But analysis of this is required, understanding of this is required to know in and through these I should see the reality that is changeless. That viveka has to be applied. So in the first sloka, he mentioned that this is bodham sakyam tataha. Through the inquiry of these panchabhutas, one will be able to know that existence that is pervading and that is appearing in different forms also. Therefore, it's possible to do it by analysis. That's what is the implication. Yeah. Now he is going to go to each one of the elements, that 5 elements that he has discussed. So first is Akasha. Pratidhanirviyat shabdo. Pratidhanirviyat shabdo. This is sloka 3. Vayo bisiti sabdanam. Ayobisiti sabdanam anushnaasita samsparshaha anushnaasita samsparshaha vahnau bhugubhugadhvani vahnau bhugubhugadhvani. So here, work together. Pratidhvanir sabdho vayobisiti sabdanam anushnaasita samsparshaha vahnau bhugubhugadhvani. So pratidhvanir viyat shabdaha. The viyat is Akasha. So how do I know Akasha? So he is giving one example. So when you go there and you cannot perceive the Akasha without conditioning, number 1. So because it's so subtle, you cannot perceive it, and unless it is conditioned. So I can say this is a part space, this is a vessel space, and space I can define because part is conditioning that space, so that, hey, this is a bathroom, say, hey, we don't have enough space in our house. All that we say, how can you say we don't have enough space? Is undivided. But yet we are using the conditions of the wall, including the conditions themselves are in the space only. You cannot, the walls cannot partition the space, right? Because the walls also in the space only. But at the same time, for our transactions, we are differentiating so that otherwise we know this is my space and that's your space, right? Don't occupy my space, and we fight for space which is, there is no mine and yours. So that's the whole life itself is. But here, how do I know space? It is pratidhvani. It means echo. Through the echo of conditions, I can know that there is a space. Echo means reflection. So by reflecting, I know where the object is, right? How far in the spatially, I can fix the coordinates of the object, spatial coordinates of the object by echo. That's how we know when an aeroplane is going, we know where it is coming from. And if we cannot see the aeroplane or here, we use a radar, which is also echo in a different level, a reflection of the wavelength of that radar wavelength. So, yeah. So that is through echo only I can differentiate the spatial coordinates or space-wise, and therefore this is the property of the space, he says. Pratidhvanir viyat shabdaha. So space has only one property, shabdaha. Now when it comes to vayu, it should have the sound as well as something else. Shabda, sparsha has to come. So now the Shabda is there. It says Vayo BCT Sabdanam. So when BCC is not, there is no Sanskrit word, it's only imitation, Anukarana. Anukarana means he is imitating the sound of the Vayu. When we have a Tufan, you know that air is blowing very well. How do you know? I can hear. What are you hearing? Bzzz sound. So BCT Sabdanam Vayoho. So the sound, the Vayu has that sound plus Anushnasita Samsparsaha. Plus it has a touch of its own, which is neither really hot or cold. You may feel hot or you may feel cold. That is because it is superimposed something else, of other quality, not from the Vayu. Vayu itself is essentially of the same temperature as you are. That's Anushna Sita Samsparshaha. So Vayu has two properties now. Shabda, that is coming from the Akasha, because it is born out of Akasha, and it has its own special quality, which is Sparsha. Now next one is Agni. Agni should have Shabda, Sparsa. Now it has its own property, which is Rupa. So he is going to tell. So walk now, Bhugu Bhugu Dvani. So the fire is Bhugu Bhugu is burning. The sound of the fire is imitating air. You can have your own imitations, but Bhugu Bhugu or Daga Daga or whatever. So that sound is the fire coming from the fire, and he is going to give some more. Vishnasparsa Prabha Rupam, Vishnasparsa Prabha Rupam, Jale Bulbuludhvanihi, Jale Bulbuludhvanihi, Sita Sparsa Sukla Rupam, Sita Sparsa Sukla Rupam, Raso Madhurya Miritihi, Raso Madhurya Miratihi. So together, Vishnasparsa Prabha Rupam, Jale Bulbuludhvanihi, Sita Sparsa Sukla Rupam, Raso Madhurya Miratihi. So the Agni has, we already talk about Bhugu Bhuga Dhvani, sound is there. And it has a Sparsa, touch also. It is hot, Vishna Sparsa Prabha, Vishna Sparsa. So obviously it's very hot, right? So how do you know? It's a fire. So we go on close to sit to the fireplace because it's hot there, comfortable, particularly in the cold. So Vishna Sparsa. So it has a second property coming from the Vayu. And it's an additional property of its own called Prabharupam. It has the brilliance of its color. So the color that it can have, it can different. In fact, in the Mundaka Upanishads, he is talking about different 5, 7 rupas of Kali, Akali, Vakali, or sorts of names also is given for each fire also. So it is Prabharupam. It has the brilliant form also. And so that is the property of the fire. So it has a Shabda, Sparsa, Rupa. 3 properties it has, Triguna. And next is the water. Sita Sparshaha Sukla Rupam Raso Madhuryam Iratihi. So Jale Bulubuludhvanihi. So for water, Bulubuludhvani. When water is flowing, you can hear. The river is flowing there. Why? I can hear the sound of the Ganges or whatever flowing water. So easily you can have your own gada gada, blah, blah, whatever now sound you can have. So here he is putting Anukarana. So Bulubuludhvanihi. So that is the sound of the jala. So it has the sound. Sita Sparsha Sukla Rupam. It is Sita Sparsha, it's cool. So if you even know it's the same temperature, you want to get into the swimming pool because you feel cold there, right? So that is Sita Sparsha. Sukla Rupam. Sukla Rupam, here it should be translated, Sukla means normally white. I know water is not really white. It says it's crystal clear water. It's a clarity of that, color of that is the Rupam. And Raso Madhurya Miratihi. It has special property. Rupam is also belong to fire. So it has also picked up the rupa from, because it came from the fire. In addition, he is picking up its own property, and that is rasaha, raso madhuryam iratihi. Irati means it is said that the taste of water is sweet. When you are really thirsty, cold water, you feel so sweet. You don't want anything else. That is the taste of water itself. But in Madras, you may get different taste. Madras water. But that's not property of the water, property of something else on top of it. So, the rasa.
That's your problem.
So, the water is, and Krishna talks in the 7th chapter actually. Rasohamapsu kaunteya prabhasmi sasi suryayo pranava sarva vedeshu sabdaha khe paurusham rashuhu. This is in the 7th chapter. It says Rasohamapsu kaunteya. Oh Kaunteya, I am the taste in the water. Follow now? Now when you taste something, it is Lord. Because Akashad Vayu, Vayu Agni, Agni Apaha. Jalam came from that Atma. And that Atma is picking up the taste. The thing is, without the water, you cannot taste anything else. If mouth is dry, you cannot taste anything. You need saliva in order to taste anything that you want. So it is the basis, and whenever you taste something, now recognize the presence of the Lord. What is the other way? How do you know? After all, you are putting on the tongue, but what tells you it is sweet or hot and all that, all the communication is what? How does sweetness taste as a sweet? You think we take things for granted. Yeah, this is taste, I don't like it, I like it. But what is sweet? When I put something in my, the sugar in my, the sugar is just some chemical and tongue is only water and another chemical contact, that's all. But how do you know it is sweet? What makes me to taste, feel that it is sweet? Asohamapsyu kaunte, I am the taste in that. Okay? And in fact, everything also. So, says in fact, Shabdaha ke, I am the sound in the ke, in the space. Just now we heard the space. I am the sound in the space. Krishna says that. I am the one. And Paurusham Rashu. So anyway, so this, when you are tasting Sabda Sparsa Rupa Rasa Gandha, because you can only see the properties, you cannot see the material, because material is existence alone. Remember, existence alone became many. The true material you cannot see. What you see is only Sabda Sparsa Rupa Rasa Gandha. And you say, just like I am seeing a ring. You are not really seeing, because you are only seeing a form. What is there is gold. So whatever I see now, my transactions in the world, now if I have this viveka now, I have to apply this viveka, this knowledge of this as I am transacting in the world through my 5 senses that I have, where I am teaching Sabda Sparsa Rupa Rasa Gandha, in all my transactions where Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi, because these are only 5 elements that I am transacting with, I should keep in mind I am experiencing the Lord Himself. You follow now? That is meditation now. Meditation is now not sitting in one place and declaring I want to see the God, I want to see the God. I am trying to see God in and everywhere, because God is everywhere. But how do I say? I don't see everywhere. I see only Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi, Jalam only. In and through their properties, I had to recognize the presence of the Lord, because they are only superficial. The essence is nothing but, which is neither Sabda Sparsa Rupa Rasa Gandha. That understanding is viveka, is required as we transact in the world where we are dealing with these Panchabhutas all the time. With that, we'll stop here. We are getting a signal here, the time, so we'll do Purnamada, Purnamidam for the video listeners also. So let's chant Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavamasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.